All right, so this is the second item that the company Hansshow has sent me to unbox and review and install and check out. So these are some Nerf bars, step rails for the Cybertruck. You can check out my other video on the Molly panels for the bed that they sent me last time, which I really liked, and they were a really good and easy install. So I'm going to unbox these, and then we'll continue on in the video, and I will install them, show you how that goes, and then kind of let you know what they're like. So let's get started. We got a box with an L on it, and a box with an R on it. I'm assuming these are the mounting brackets. And you've got two long boxes that actually say running boards on them. So at least that's clearly marked. These are very substantial brackets. I don't know how well you can see that, but this steel is really thick, and you can tell it's solid. And it's got a nice powder coat finish on it, similar to the Molly panels. And these are actually stamped, or actually engraved with numbers and letters as well. So I've got an L4 and L3. Assuming the other two are L1 and L2. Yep, there's L1. And L2. Let me show you this right here. So you can see stamped in there is L2. It's got a little arrow too, I guess, to show you the orientation of how these are mounted. So there's a box of left-hand components. We have a similar box of right-hand components. These are similar in that they're just opposite. They have R2, R1, R3, R4. And then this bag has the little spacers and tools. So there's a little pry tool. You can see here, there's this really heavy thick spacers, as well as the wrenches right there. Gives you a parts list. So it looks like I still need to find all of the little small washers and bolts. Running boards themselves are in the long boxes, but there should be another box with hardware in it as well. And those are right here. This bag. It's got lock washers, flat washers of different sizes, bolts of different sizes, and then some other brackets, other nuts, flat washers, So there's all of our hardware there in the right side box. Themselves. I want to at least get one of these out and show you. That's what it looks like up close. You can see the Cybertruck profile on the step rail. It's hard to get an idea how long this is by looking here, but it spans the whole side of the truck from front door to back door. And it looks pretty substantial. I forgot what the load rating is on these. I think it's something like 500 pounds or 550. So, kind of cool. Anyway, look forward to showing you how these fit on there. And we'll get started once we get the truck ready to put them on. First thing I did for this install is I went ahead and put the truck up on the very high setting in off-road mode, so that I've got plenty of room to get down there and work under the side skirt there. So these running boards I got from Hansshow. I think I've already shown some of the detailing on these. They've got the little Cybertruck shape angular cutout of them. I'm going to sort these parts out and get all the individual nuts, bolts, and washers out and get those somewhat organized so it's easy to go through and put those in, and we'll get started. Alright, so we'll get all these sorted out, figure out how many we've got of each and how we need to divide them up. It looks like on our user's manual here, we'll have a flat washer and then a lock washer, and then the bolt going through for the fatter bolts, and then same thing, flat washer, lock washer, skinny bolt. And then on the holes that have the cutout in the plastic skirt on the side of the truck, you'll use one of these aluminum spacers to go up in the hole to make it flush. So what I'm going to do is go ahead, I kind of like having all this stuff sort of put together so it's easy to just slide all these on. So what I'm going to do is start sliding, kind of pre-assembling these little bolt pieces. So I'm going to slide on lock washer, flat washer for each of these. Alright, so that makes that a whole lot neater. So we've just got 4 long bolts, 4 shorter, fatter bolts, and then 4 of these spacers, and that'll be for each side. And what I'll do drop those 4, those 4 down in there. Maybe they'll stay together. We'll bring that to the opposite side. We also got this bag. I'll cut open and see. This is going to be for attaching the actual bed rails to the main brackets. These have got the bolts welded to them, so they're put together as a common bracket. goes on each side. And then I'm just going to probably leave these in there for now until we get ready to actually put the bed rails on. I'm going to set these to the side over here, all of them. Just out of the way for now. Slide those across. All right. So, try to figure out the best way to get this camera, because first we need to go in with our 10mm socket and remove the bolts that are up under here. And I'm gonna bring this under and show you what we're talking about here. So this is kind of dark, but these screws up in these holes right here, that's where the aluminum spacers are going to go, and then you've got a flush mounted hole right next to it. So you got the deep one there, flush mounted here. As you come down the side, you got another deep one there, another flush mount here, and you can see they're not that close together on some of these. So this one's way down here, where you have this screw here. So that's why all four of your brackets are very different, but they all should line up, and we'll see that in just a minute. But first, I'm going to take the 4 screws out of these 4 holes along this side and set them to the side. And that is what those look like. All right, according to the manual, starting from the back, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4, and they're stamped with the numbers. Well, you can see on there, see L1, and then the rest of them are marked accordingly. So we're going to take one spacer and one of our long studs. They're going to stack together just like that. And we'll take one of our shorter, fatter screws, and that'll use the 13mm socket. And we'll run those up in there. I did not notice any actual thread locker on the factory screws, and I may end up not using that on these because I don't really want to snug down all the way tight on these before I get them to where I get the boards on and make sure everything's going to line up just right. So let's see how this goes. So we'll do our number 1 first. It actually looks like under here, these underside supports, you can see it. Once you get them connected, this little upper tab will gum up and sit flush. Once it's tight, will sit flush right up on this frame piece right here, just next to the underside of the battery, to kind of hold extra support there. Two down, 2 to go. This one, you're actually going to have your long screw on this side and your short screw on the other side. So once again, these running boards are from a company called Hansshow. It's Hansshow, and their website is hautopart.com, hautopart.com. So if you go there, if you use my discount code at checkout, which is Space Nerd, SPACENERD, no spaces, you get an extra 25% off at checkout. So check them out. They've got a lot of different accessories, both for Teslas and Rivians. So go check out their stuff. And I just broke that bolt off. That's not good. All right, so let me take a minute to tell y'all a little something not to do. Which I guess that's part of these, part of the point of these review videos is to help you know how not to make the same mistakes that I did. So when I was putting in these M6 by 60 bolts, that's the ones that took the 10mm socket. Even though I was using a regular socket wrench, just a regular short standard socket wrench, I torqued down a little bit too hard, and as you can see, that one, I don't know if it's going to focus on it or not, that one is completely sheared off, and it broke off up in the hole underneath the Cybertruck. So I spent the last 20 or 30 minutes trying to get that little piece out. So if you ever have to do that, there is a tool for that, and fortunately I had it. Basically it starts with a very tiny little drill bit. Obviously that little drill bit needs to be small enough to be able to drill a hole in the end of the broken piece without damaging the threads that are in the hole. So once you dig, this doesn't have to go very deep, just maybe 1/8 of an inch, possibly 1/4. There's another piece. You can see on the end of my drill bit, I've got the broken piece of bolt on the end of it, but you can see it's a left-hand spiral kind of grabber piece that will go inside that screw hole, and you can see that it's pretty hard to center it because of the way it's broken. It's going to be really hard to get it right in the center, and you can tell I did not. It's on the edge, but as long as you can get the hole in there, then you can take this spiral bit and it'll wedge in there, and you can just easily back it out. So for right now, I'm going to have to pause this installation. I'm going to put the factory screw back in there, and hopefully I didn't damage any of the threads at all backing that out. But I'm going to put the factory screw back in for now. I've reached out to Hansshow for a replacement M6 by 60 bolt. So once I can get that replacement part in, I'll pick back up on the installation. So it is what it is. Stuff like that happens when you're doing installs. Probably won't be the last time I mess something up like that. But anyway, as long as they can supply me with that replacement part, we'll get it put back in, and I'll just have to make sure that I'm a little easier on those thinner bolts. So anyway, we'll pick this back up when that new bolt comes in. Alright guys, so it's been about 2 weeks since the last time I was down here working on this. If you recall from, well, for you it'll be a couple minutes ago, but a couple weeks ago I broke off one of the 6mm bolts when I was doing this install for the first time. So I learned a couple things. I made sure to verify the torque spec because I didn't feel like I was torquing it that hard when it broke. Hansshow did send me not only another bolt, but a whole other bag of all of the 6mm hardware. So now I've got a bunch of spares. But I also did find my small torque wrench that I can get the proper torque spec and just make sure what I'm torquing it to. I'm going to zip them in with it's just a small electric screwdriver just to get them in quickly, and then I'll go back and torque them to the right spec with that torque wrench. I'm also going to put a dot of non-permanent thread locker Loctite on there to make sure they stay snug. But yeah, so that's about it. I'm going to get back to it. I got to pull the factory bolts back out because I did reinstall them between when the bolt broke and now. So let's get to it. And normally, obviously it would be way easier to get all these snugged in and then go back and torque them all at one time. But since it recommended having the Loctite on there, what I don't want to happen is for the Loctite to set up before they're torqued, because then you're either going to not get the right torque value or you're going to break that Loctite loose, and then it's not going to be worth, it's not going to be any good as Loctite if it already dried and then got broken loose. Alright, so now that we've got all four of our support brackets on, 1, 2, 3, and 4, what we're going to do is go ahead and take the step rail and you can just rest it on the four supports like that. And what I've done is go ahead and separate some of these parts. So you're going to need that 2-bolt bracket, and those 2 bolts are welded onto it, so it's just one piece, and then 2 flat washers, 2 lock washers, and 2 nuts. And I've got those separated into piles at each of the supports, so that once I get under there I can knock them all out. One thing, as I was looking at this to see the best way to do it, I'm going to see if I can bring you under here with me. That is a really awkward angle, but you can see the support bracket, and then this is the actual step rail itself, and there's a little lip on each side, right here and right here. Then this bracket, the 2 bolts are welded on, the 2 little flanges on each side are going to pinch between the support bracket and pinch with that little lip above this little piece on each side. On the underside of the support bracket, there's 2 slots, and that's where your 2 bolts that are welded onto that bracket are going to come through. And once you get those on there, on all 4 of them, you'll be able to slide it back and forth, or side to side on the truck to get it to the position that you like it. You can have it slid all the way up in tight to the truck, or you can have it to where it sticks out a little bit more. I think I'm going to like it tucked in as much as possible, but we'll see. So I'm going to go ahead and put these brackets on. It's going to be hard for me to show what I'm doing while I'm doing it, because this GoPro won't really fit under here with me, especially with the lighting the way it is. But I will set this up and go ahead and get these 4 sets of brackets done on the driver's side. All right, so I've got those just barely finger tight so that I can still move it around. I don't know, it's hard to tell maybe on screen how close this is, but that's all the way out. And then if you push it in, that's all the way in. So basically it goes from having some gap between the rail and the truck, but giving you a little bit more of a stepping surface versus being all the way in kind of flush, which I think is where I'm going to like it, as far in as possible, just to be kind of lower profile. But yeah, so that's what it's going to look like. I've got to torque these bolts down, but yeah, so I'll show you. That's the driver's side with the rails on, and passenger side with no rail on. You can kind of see the difference there. I think it's a pretty sharp look myself. So now I'm just going to torque those bolts down. Got all those torqued. That is solid. So yeah, they feel rock solid. No rattle or movement. Yeah, they feel really solid. I'm right at 220 and standing on them, got no flex, no rattle. Yeah, it felt solid. So I'm liking it. All right, I'm just going to repeat the exact same thing on the other side, and we'll be done.
Oh my gosh! Can I step on it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Wow. That worked epically.
You like it?
I love it. This truck is so customized.
I broke off another bolt a while ago.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Did you ever replace it?
Yeah, because they sent me like a whole pack of them.
That's good.
All right, there you have it. Passenger side is complete. And I think they look really good. One thing that a couple of things I'll caution you about if you're gonna do this install. I really do like the way they look. I think they fit great. I think they're sturdy. The only thing I would say is be very careful when you're torquing down the 6mm bolts. That's the smaller diameter, longer bolt. I actually broke 2 of those in the process. One I told you about before, and that one I chalked up to my fault. I wasn't using a torque wrench. I was just trying to get it snug and it broke. Today, however, I was using a torque wrench and I was going to the upper end of the recommended torque band for these bolts, and it had not broken over yet on the torque wrench, and it popped another one of those bolts. So I don't know the reason. Hansshow was great about replacing the bolt. They actually sent me a whole pack of them, so that was good. I expected, I was only asking for one, but I'm very glad that they sent me the whole pack, because I was able to just grab another one today and finish the install. But I do think it turned out looking great. Another thing, just a word of caution, and this may just be for fat guys like me. Before you get ready to do this, might not be a good idea to eat a lot of pizza, because this install has you upside down a lot, and so that's kind of rough hanging upside down for an hour or so after eating pizza. But anyway, beside the point. I'm happy with them. I think they look good. Like I said, I think they're sturdy. And if you go to Hansshow, Handshow's website, which is hautopart.com, you can use my discount code SPACENERD. That's SPACENERD, no spaces in between, just SPACENERD. You'll get a discount. So go check them out. They've got all kind of accessories, including these running boards on their website. Lots of things for all the Tesla models, as well as some Rivian stuff as well. So go check them out. Remember, Space Nerd on checkout for a discount. And appreciate you guys watching. I hope to see you on the next one. See ya.